You with the armor of toughness, the mask of steel. You believe it protects you. But deep down, you know it's brittle, a cracked shield that hides your hunger to be seen. And that hunger, if ignored, will rot you from within. Acting tough isn't power. It's poison. You think hardness makes you unbreakable. But secretly, it is the clearest sign of your fracture. A wound planted long ago. Rejection, betrayal, the silent humiliation of being overlooked, has grown into this costume of invulnerability. You stitched it together not with courage, but with fear. And now it clings to you like a second skin. You wear it at school, at work, with family. You mock softness. You sneer at gentleness. You turn every exchange into a small battlefield, a place to prove your edge, your iron, your dominance. For a moment, you feel taller. For a moment, the applause echoes inside your skull. But when silence returns, so does the emptiness. The tough act is not healing. It is a bandage pressed against a wound that still bleeds beneath. And like a bandage left too long, it traps infection. The pain grows, sealed away in darkness, never exposed to the light where it could finally mend. Look at yourself closely. In the mirror of your daily life, the mask is slipping. You see the cracks, the overcompensation, the laugh that sounds more like a bark, the cruel joke that lingers too long in the air, the glare that feels rehearsed. And when you lie down at night, when no one is watching, the mask crumbles entirely. You are not strong. You are exhausted. The truth is sharper than any insult you've thrown at another. The wound you carry is not weakness. The wound is your humanity. It is a part of you that still feels, still remembers, still longs. The illusion, the fatal illusion, is thinking toughness will erase it. But toughness does not heal. Toughness freezes. It embalms your pain, suspending it in amber, preserving the wound for eternity. And here lies the cruel trick. The longer you cling to the mask, the heavier it becomes. You wake up one day and realize you can no longer tell the difference between yourself and the armor you forged. You are lost inside the performance. You aren't tough. You're terrified. And pretending only makes the terror grow. Think of the moments you lash out at the smallest slight. Someone questions your opinion, and you respond with ridicule. Someone offers kindness, and you spit it back as condescension. These are not victories. They are betrayals. Betrayals of the self you buried under the iron mask. The hunger to be seen still burns beneath it. That hunger is not weakness. It is life itself, demanding to breathe. When you silence it, it turns venomous. It corrodes your relationships. It blinds you to genuine connection. It hollows you out until even your victories feel hollow. Machiavelli once wrote notes in secret, reminders to himself about power, deception, and survival. Journals hidden from the public eye, scrawled by candlelight. He understood that the face one shows the world is not the face one lives with in private. And so should you. To write the truth of your wound, even in secret, is to begin loosening the grip of the mask. For there is one paradox you cannot escape. The wound you are running from is the very doorway you must walk through. That doorway does not demand toughness. It demands honesty. It demands surrender. You are not made to be stone. You are not built to be iron. You are made to feel, to break, to rebuild. To be human is to be marked by wounds. To deny them is to deny your life itself. And so, here you stand, fists clenched, shoulders tense, mask polished to a false shine. The world sees your performance, but I see the fracture beneath. The question is not whether you will drop the act. The question is how long you will let it devour you. Because every mask, no matter how solid it seems, eventually cracks. And when it does, when the armor splinters, the wound will still be there, waiting. The wound is not your enemy. The wound is the threshold. The wound is the doorway. Something inside you moves before you do. The flicker in your jaw. The sudden tension in your chest. The hardening of your voice. It feels like choice, but it isn't. This is the parasite. Jung once described it as an autonomous complex, a fragment of psyche that breaks away from your control and begins to live as if it were its own being. In plain words, a shadow program, coded by old pain, now running your life without asking permission. The The parasite is ancient. It was born the first time you felt powerless. The moment someone mocked you, humiliated you, dismissed you, that sting did not vanish. It coiled into your nerves, left an imprint deeper than memory, and now it wakes whenever you sense the same danger. So the cycle begins. Someone questions you. Someone interrupts you. Someone offers even the slightest hint of challenge. Before thought arises, the parasite whispers, dominate or disappear, strike or be erased. And you obey. You bark, you flex, you sneer. The fire in your chest feels like strength. The words spilling out feel like victory. But when the adrenaline fades, you are left with hollowness. You are not powerful. You are possessed. You are no longer a man or woman. You are a program running itself. The parasite loves performance. It thrives on the ritual of toughness, the crossed arms, the narrowed eyes, the biting sarcasm. To outsiders, it looks like you are in control. But those who truly see know the truth. Your gestures are predictable. Your defense is automatic. The parasite makes you transparent. This is the cruel irony. The more you pretend to be strong, the easier you are to control. A rival, a manipulator, even a stranger can pull your strings. All they must do is poke the wound, and the parasite leaps into action. You dance to its tune, believing you're leading the music. Picture the shadows flickering across your face when anger takes you. The sudden heat, the tightening grip on every word. This is not freedom. This is servitude. You have chained yourself to a phantom. And yet, there is something darker still. The parasite feeds not only on your reactions, but on your silence afterward. When you sit alone, replaying the argument, the boast, the explosion, it feasts on your shame. Every repetition strengthens its hold. Every rumination deepens its roots. You tell yourself you're building a shield, but really you're feeding the parasite. The parasite is not destroyed by defiance. It thrives on resistance. Like a knot, the harder you pull, the tighter it binds. That is why your toughness never satisfies. That is why the mask you wear becomes heavier each year. Do you see it now? You aren't feared. You're not even respected. You are managed. The parasite ensures your every tough reaction follows a script so ancient it no longer belongs to you. And the world knows. The world can use it. A clever manipulator sees your armor and smiles. They know the exact spot to press, the precise insult to hurl, the subtle disrespect to plant. And like clockwork, you erupt. They own you without you ever realizing it. Strength? No, this is slavery. What you call toughness is just obedience to the parasite. A leash wrapped tightly around your throat. A leash you mistake for armor. And the longer you let it rule, the less of you remains. The parasite grows fat. The host grows thin. Soon, you forget what it feels like to act without calculation, to speak without performance, to live without the constant hum of defense. You wanted to be untouchable. Instead, you became possessed. This is a truth few dare to face. The parasite inside you is not your enemy in disguise. It is your forgotten self, twisted into a phantom. Until you meet it face to face, until you reclaim what it stole, you will remain predictable. You will remain bound. And so the mask cracks, but not from the outside. It cracks from within as the parasite claws for more. The act of toughness is not strength. It is a signal, a flare shot into the night sky, declaring, I am not free. Now the question is simple. Will you keep serving the parasite, or will you begin to starve it? Because the moment you choose to see, the leash starts to loosen. There is a reason the parasite grows stronger. It does not hunt alone. It has an ally, the mask you wear for the world, the persona. At first, it feels harmless. A smile at the right moment, a clever remark to deflect attention, a practiced edge to your voice when you need to be taken seriously. This is how the mask begins, a tool of survival, a way to move unseen through dangerous crowds. But soon, the mask is not something you put on. It is something you cannot take off. Society rewards it. The smirk, the swagger, the cruel joke that wins laughter but carves scars into another. Every time you play the part, the world applauds. So you wear it more, and more, until the applause echoes louder than your own heartbeat. This is a prison. Every interaction becomes a stage performance, every word rehearsed, every gesture sharpened into armor. You resist softness, compassion, tenderness, not because you hate them, but because you fear what they might reveal. You cannot risk exposure. You cannot risk being seen without the mask. But in resisting, you close the gate to wholeness. Jung warned that the persona is useful for adaptation, but fatal if mistaken for self. The mask can help you survive in public, but in solitude, it strangles you. You wake at night and feel the suffocation. The silence becomes unbearable, because in silence, the mask cannot perform. And if it cannot perform, what are you? You think you control the mask. In truth, the mask controls you. The possession deepens. Every wound, every parasite, every act of false toughness locks together, like gears grinding in an endless machine. The system feeds itself, consuming your energy, consuming your days, until you no longer know what is real. You call it strength. You call it toughness. But it is only captivity. Look closely. The mask is cracking. Light bleeds through the fractures. And yet you cling harder. You polish the cracks, strengthen the straps, pretend the light is an illusion. But the truth is breaking in whether you want it or not. Because the mask was never meant to be permanent. It was meant to serve you. Instead, you bowed to it. You traded freedom for performance. You traded your soul for applause. And now the parasite whispers through the mask. Your anger, your bravado, your relentless posturing. These are not accidents. They are rehearsals performed on cue. You are not a sovereign being. You are an actor, enslaved to the stage. Do you feel the weight of it? The constant pressure to appear strong, composed, unshaken? Do you feel the exhaustion of never letting the mask slip? That fatigue is a sound of change dragging across the floor of your mind. This is the system. The parasite and the persona bound together, gears interlocked, grinding down the last remnants of your authentic self. And yet, somewhere deep beneath the weight, a flicker remains, a faint pulse, a whisper de real. It calls to you in quiet moments, when the mask is tired, when the performance falters, when you glimpse yourself in the mirror and do not recognize the eyes staring back. The mask becomes a master, but the master can be broken. Still, you must understand the danger. For the longer you perform, the harder it is to return. Each act deepens the grooves of the script. Each repetition binds the mask tighter. You wanted to be unshakable. Instead, you became unreadable. You wanted to be respected. Instead, you became replaceable. Because the world doesn't see you. It sees only the performance. This is a prison of persona. A life where you are always acting, always rehearsing, always hiding. A life where you are never living. And the bars of that prison, they are not outside you. They are carved into your very face. The mask, and one day it will shatter. The only question is whether you will be ready when it does. There are cracks you cannot hide forever. Moments when the mask slips. Moments when you are startled by your own reflection. A trembling in your voice. A tear you did not expect. A silence that exposes you. And in those moments, you feel raw, naked, terrified. But listen closely. This terror is not the end. It is the beginning. The unconscious never stops knocking. It whispers through dreams you dismiss as nonsense. It breaks through in slips of the tongue, where truth leaks out against your will. It jolts you awake at night, heart racing, because it is tired of being ignored. The self you buried is not dead. It is waiting, and fear is its signal fire. You think fear means weakness, but fear is the compass. Fear points directly to the part of you that matters most, the place you've hidden, the place you've sworn never to touch again. The leap begins in fear. You fear being seen as soft. You fear being seen as weak. You fear that if the mask falls, no one will respect you, no one will stay, no one will love you. But what you really fear is the truth, that beneath the armor, you are still human, still breakable, still alive. The dragon guarding your treasure is your own fear, and the treasure is buried beneath it. This is a painful hope. The wound you carry is not a curse. It is an initiation. The moment you finally turn toward it, you discover it is not emptiness, but depth. Not shame, but strength. Not death, but rebirth. Dropping the mask feels like dying. And in a way it is. It is the death of the actor, the death of the parasite, the death of the prison you built for yourself. But death is the soil of transformation. Every rebirth demands it. The unconscious will not let you stay asleep. That is why your anxiety sharpens, why failure stalks you, why even your body begins to revolt with exhaustion, with illness, with signals you do not want to read. The unconscious does not punish. It insists. It will keep nudging, keep haunting, keep shaking you until you turn around and face the shadow. You cannot run forever. The stage lights of toughness will burn out. The mask will shatter. And in that collapse, you will finally see what was hidden all along. Yes, it is terrifying. Yes, it feels unbearable. But in that terror lives a key. You must step through the fire. You must look the dragon in the eyes. You must claim the treasure buried within your own fear. The leap is not safe. The leap is not comfortable. The leap is necessary. Because only by leaping do you stop acting tough. Only by leaping do you stop serving the parasite. Only by leaping do you begin to live whole. And when you finally fall into that abyss of fear, you will discover the ground is not stone. It is soil, waiting for you to plant something real. The mask is breaking. The fire is burning. The leap is waiting. Do you hear it? The door creaking open. The wound, the fear, the trembling. It is not your downfall. It is your threshold. Step through. The time for shadows is over. The time for fire is here. You stare at the mask long enough, trace its cracks, felt its weight. Now, the question is not why you wear it. The question is, will you dare to set it down? Theory ends here. Practice begins. There are 3 steps. Not easy, not glamorous, but sharp, clean, and real. First, name the mask. Notice when it slips onto your face. When you perform toughness instead of truth. Write it down. The smirk in conversation. The cruel joke that hides discomfort. The silence you use as a shield. Put ink to the act. Patterns cannot survive once exposed to light. Naming the mask is prying open the lock. Second, face the wound. The mask was born for a reason. Do not forget this. Somewhere in the story of your life, there was a moment of humiliation, rejection, or betrayal. You were cut. You bled. And in that bleeding, the mask was forged. To face the wound is to return there. Journal it. Speak aloud in a room where no one listens but the walls. Give language to what once silenced you. Every word you carve into the air is a weapon against the parasite, because armor cannot dissolve until you see what it was protecting. Third, choose the opposite act. When you would flex, soften. When you would speak, listen. When you would sneer, admit uncertainty. Not once, not twice, again and again, until the pattern cracks. Every small act of honesty is a fracture in the prison wall. Do not underestimate it. The parasite thrives on repetition, so you must break its rhythm. Interrupt the script, refuse the stage. Each opposite act is a hammer strike against the mask. 3 steps. Simple, brutal, necessary. But beneath them all lies the final law. Responsibility. Radical responsibility. You cannot blame the mask. You put it on. No one forced it over your face. It was your survival, your choice, your armor. And now, it must also be your undoing. You place the bars of this prison. Only you can break them. There is no rescuer coming. No hand reaching through the fire. No savior to whisper your secret name. The journey is yours alone. Schopenhauer once warned that most people spend their lives disguising themselves from themselves. But you are not most people. You are here, listening, waiting, ready to burn. So take responsibility. Take the wound in your hands and stop hiding from it. Take the mask and hold it to the mirror until you cannot deny the lines it carved into your soul. Take your fear and use it as a compass instead of a cage. Responsibility is not punishment. Responsibility is power. Because the moment you say, I did this, is the moment you can also say, I can undo this. This week, drop 1 mask. Just one. The mask of the unshakable. The mask of the cruel. The mask of the silent. Drop it. even for a single conversation, and watch the parasite lose its grip. Tell me which one shattered. Tell yourself, because when the mask breaks, something else emerges. Something you thought was lost, your own voice. But beware, when the mask falls, another challenge rises, a darker one, because beneath the persona waits not only the wound, but the hunger for control, the hunger for power. And that is the next test. For now, take the steps. Name the mask. Face the wound. Choose the opposite act. Every stroke, every word, every silence is part of the ritual. You are not merely tearing down walls. You are building a self. The prison is cracking. The fire is spreading. And you hold the key. Drop the mask. Step through the fear. And prepare for what comes next.